Sal Suds. Why do professional house cleaners love Sal Suds? More importantly, why does the world love Sal Suds? We're going to talk about that today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, if we start talking about Sal Suds, there are hundreds of questions that come up because there are hundreds of uses. I know, even the castile soap that Dr. Bronners makes has 18 uses on the bottle, right? The label is very small, but it has hundreds of words on it, and it explains all the different uses. I'm also going to link in the show notes to all the different uses so that you can start using it if you haven't already. All right, so I'm super excited about today's show because we have Lisa Bronner, who is the granddaughter of the creator of Dr. Bronner's soaps. Now, as long as I've been in the house cleaning industry, house cleaners everywhere love Dr. Bronner's soaps because they are earth-friendly, they're biodegradable, and they're easy on the senses. So if you use them, it's not going to be fumes that you're smelling, it's not going to make your eyes water, it's not going to clog up your nose, and when you get home, you feel like $1,000,000 instead of feeling like you've been hit by a Mack truck. So the Sal Suds and the castile soap are taking over my Facebook groups because professional house cleaners are like, hey, it's the most awesome stuff in the world. Well, I was in London a couple of weeks ago and I walked past a health food store and the entire window display was Dr. Bronner's soaps. And I got so excited, I'm like, oh my goodness, the movement has gone worldwide. So if you want to talk about going green, Dr. Bronner and his family have created that movement and they created the soaps behind it. So please help me welcome the author of Going Green with the Bronner Mom, Lisa Bronner, to explain and share with us a little bit about what it was like growing up in the family that's responsible for the green movement. Please help me welcome Lisa Bronner.
So I'm Lisa Bronner, and I am the granddaughter of Dr. Emanuel Bronner, who founded Dr. Bronner Soaps. And I am the daughter of Jim and Trudy Bronner. My dad, Jim, was the youngest of Dr. Bronner's 3 children. In his turn was head of the company, and for years, even when my grandfather was still with us, my dad was actually the overseer of the production of the castile soaps. And so I have grown up with that being in my realm. And I would say that as far as childhood goes, when you're a kid, you pretty much assume that whatever your childhood is pretty universal and that other people must have the same background or eccentricities and that sort of thing. It's only when you get older and you start to interact with people more that you realize what of your childhood was unique. And so it wasn't until I went to college that I realized what my grandfather had done single-handedly and had done, although he had been blind for the last 30 years, I realized, because I went to college on the other side of the country, that the soaps were known and the label was known and people were asking me questions and I was just stunned, like, wait, you know about this?
By the way, did you know that you're responsible for the whole Going Green movement? I can only imagine how that must be to kind of like, oh, we're it.
I'm glad. I'm thrilled. A lot of it is just doing our thing, what we feel like is the right thing to do in the moment and where we're at and with the resources we have, making the best decisions we have for people and planet. I'm glad that so many people are also on the same path now.
Is it strange for you when you talk to people that you've never met before and they tell you that they use your soaps for shampoo and toothpaste and a whole bunch of things that typical soaps are not used for?
Well, people tell me far more than I personally ever tell a stranger. So I'm always quite, but it's flattering and it's a privilege to know that we're trusted, that I'm trusted. I appreciate that people feel comfortable letting me into their world and sharing with me. It is very fun when somebody comes and says, I've been using your products for 40 years. And even people who got to meet my grandfather, he was so open. He wanted to meet as many people as he could. He would have these open houses once a week, mostly to talk about the label, which was his passion.
It's interesting that you bring up the label because we make jokes. I'm in this private Facebook group with about 10,000 business owners that are house cleaning business owners. And the Sal Suds is a really popular product. And so there will be new house cleaners that come on board and they're like, what product is it? And we're like, it's the one with all the words. And
there you go.
I don't know if you can see this or not. This is for the audience, but this has more words on this label than I think are in the English dictionary. It's hilarious. So we're like, all the instructions, everything you need is right here on the label, but you must buy a pair of reading glasses in order to see it. So get the Sal Suds and the reading glasses, and it's the one with all the words.
Right. And you're going to get some philosophy lesson as well, which, my grandfather would have felt goes hand in hand with cleaning the outer world and cleaning the inside of us and our minds as well. So it kind of was all part of the big picture for him.
Well, now I have to ask you because you've got this amazing website and blog about going green as a Bronner mom. And going green is a really big issue these days because there are so many people that are allergic to different kinds of chemicals and what have you. What does it mean to go green?
That's a question I ask myself regularly, partially because the word is so used now, so ubiquitous, that I want to make sure that it still has meaning and that when I use it, people understand what I mean by green. It's not just a bandwagon, it's not just a catchphrase, but I do feel like it's a standard form of communication. I have summed up my use of the word green by saying it's all about leaving the place better than you found it. And that applies to our bodies, taking care of them in such a way that we're strengthening them. It applies to our houses. It applies to our world. So if we run our decisions through that sort of filter, generally you're going to come up with products that are less toxic, that are biodegradable, that are good for our bodies, that aren't going to build up or weaken them, as well as products that are good for our household and the people in it and the animals in it, that things are going to be strengthened through it, as well as the environment, using products that aren't depleting the environment in their production, and that after their usage they will biodegrade so that they won't build up in the environment either. So for me, it's all about leaving the place better than you found it.
Well, and I love that philosophy. At the end of every show, we always say, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it. And
That's
we
exactly
could
it.
change that to say, leave it a greener place.
I love it.
I do
I
too.
love it.
One of the fun things about the castile soap is that you can actually use it for your body. And so I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but you can also use it on pets. Tell us a little bit about your experience using it on pets.
Absolutely. Well, it is originally designed as a body soap. And it's always interesting to hear what people's first interaction with the Castile soap is, because if you come to it as somebody recommended it to you for mopping your floors, it's like, what? You can use it on your body? That I don't want to use a mopping solution on my body. But it's actually a personal care soap, body soap, that is good for many, many other things because it's such a simple soap, so very clean rinsing, and so it doesn't leave residue behind. For the same reason that it's great for our skin and for our hair, it's great for our pets. And growing up, I never would have thought to have bathed our dogs with anything other than Castile soap. And in fact, my dad would always blend the peppermint and the eucalyptus, which are two scents that really are going to knock you over, but great for dogs. Cleaning them and getting rid of the wet dog smell, and super clean rinsing so it doesn't leave any sort of itchy residue on their skin. As with us, you want to keep it out of their eyes and keep water out of their ears.
Now, you brought up the Sal Suds. Your dad created the Sal Suds, right?
Yes, yes, he did. He did. He created it because of there's one area in which the Castile soap does not excel, which is in hard water. And growing up in LA, my household did have hard water. All of LA does, and many people struggle with that. My dad would test how hard the water was by taking a glass of water and putting soap in it, because if there is a lot of mineral content, which is what makes our water hard, then the soap will create a precipitate and it turns cloudy and that sinks to the bottom. So you could always test and see if your water is hard. We had a water softener on the house. However, because of that, my dad knew that people would struggle with using the Castile soap on things that are shiny because that mineral precipitate would create a cloudy surface on there. So if you're washing your dishes, your glasses, your car, or anything that you wanted to be shiny, that was going to get in your way. And so he developed the Sal Suds, which is a detergent, not a soap, to be immune to hard water, but still gentle, non-toxic, biodegradable, very clean rinsing, and actually even slightly more effective than the Castile soap. So it's what I reach for when I'm washing grimier things.
So if I understand correctly, the Castile soap is for people and the Sal Suds is for cars and dishes and laundry and stuff like that.
Well, kind of. The Castile soap is for everything except shiny things.
Okay.
And then the Sal Suds is not for people or animals, but is for everything else. So they have this area in which they overlap, but then, in the people and pets realm, Castile only. And in the hard, shiny surfaces, also outside where you're going to have a lot more mineral content, you would want to go with the Sal Suds.
Well, this is absolutely phenomenal. You have to share with us a little bit about some of the interesting ways are that you can use the all-in-one. I know there are like 18 different uses and maybe even more than that. You guys have
Yeah.
just gobs of different things that you can use the soaps for.
It's funny, as I was talking about the history of the labels, when you see the very first labels my grandfather had, they said like 4-in-1, and then they said 9-in-1, and then 13-in-1. And then when he got to 18-in-1, I don't know what it was about the number 18, but he just stopped increasing that.
It's because there's no
We
more room
have,
on the label.
I know, it could be like 101.
You can't add
We
one
get,
more letter on there. It's full.
that is true. We get so many uses from customers and then uses ourselves. I didn't know I could wash it with that. Or I love before and after pictures of things to wash with the castile soap. It is true, you can use it head to toe and everywhere, but to specify some of the more uncommon uses, it's great as a vegetable wash, as a fruit and veggie wash, especially if you're growing your own and you just have some field dirt on it. It's great for getting that off. If you even have some critters on it, great for getting that off. But also, if you're buying your produce from the grocery store and it might have some a wax on it or some sort of film, it's great for getting that off as well. So, if you have a bunch to wash, just fill a bowl or a sink with water and a quick dash of the soap. That'll be enough. Or if you just have one item, then a drop will work well. Around the house, as you can see, I've got a gallon of the tea tree here. Because I go through it and use it so much. It's what I use for mopping the floors. It's what I use in my household cleaning spray. It's what I use for laundry especially with my sheets and such. Okay, here's another unusual usage for the soap. True soap, not detergent, is effective at killing small insects. And I'm not totally clear on the biology of this. I know that it works because I've used it many times myself, but there's something about real soap that stops insects on contact as long as it's wet. Like you can't leave it out as a residue, as I mentioned with dogs, but if you spray them, it'll stop. So if you have an ant trail in your house, and the tea tree is especially good for that because tea tree essential oil helps to eliminate that scent trail. You always wonder, how do ants, know to follow each other? It's the scent trails that they're following. And so you not only want to get rid of the ants themselves, but you have to eliminate the scent trail or else you'll just get a new batch next time you're not looking. So a quarter cup of the castile soap in a quart of water makes a great pest spray.
You've got on your website a breakdown of all the different dilution types and all the different ways you can use it. Please tell our listeners where they can go to find your website and also the different sheets that you have, because once you get a hold of this, and if you're in my Facebook group, it comes up every day in conversation. Everybody's like, Sal Suds, and then they got their before and after pictures and everything looks so pretty and shiny. Everyone's like, where do I get it? Where do I get it? How do I dilute it? And the question comes up, and I would just like to have that link, and send everybody back to your site.
Yes. So my site is lisabronner.com, LASABRONNER.com. The website is called Going Green. And I have two very handy dilution cheat sheets, I call them, one for the castile soap and one for the Sal Suds. As I said, they do have a lot of overlapping uses, but the dilutions are a little bit different because the Sal Suds is about twice as concentrated as the castile soap. So it goes further. And I warn people, it's not that it's toxic if you use too much. It absolutely is not. However, you're just going to waste it. You're going to go through it faster. And with the Sal Suds, with the amount that it bubbles, if you use too much, you're going to actually be cleaning up bubbles for a while. So if you find that your solution is too bubbly, cut it down a little bit because that means you've got too much Sal Suds in there. So lisabronner.com, do a search for cheat sheets and you'll come up with both of them, or there's a menu bar that can take you to them as well.
And that was Lisa Bronner from Going Green with a Bronner Mom. And I'm going to leave links in the show notes to all the things that we just talked about. I'm going to leave links to her website so you can go get your cheat sheets and figure out all the dilution ratios and different ways to use the product. And I'm telling you what, if you haven't used it as shampoo, it makes an awesome shampoo. It makes your head feel like it comes alive in a really healthy sort of way. So give it a try. All right, as Christmas is coming up, I also want to mention that the hand sanitizer is great for school teachers. And then also, if you want to give something to your house cleaner, Sal Suds or castile soap is a wonderful gift. So just want to throw that out there. All righty, if you found this helpful, please pass it on to a friend. If we've earned your subscription, please subscribe. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner and a greener place than when you found it.